Now here's the reason why my video is not quiet. So I will apologize. Everybody say hi to Rocket. Showing his teeth at you guys. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel is about law, personal finance, and lifestyle. And for those of you who've been watching recently, you probably noticed I've been putting out a lot of videos regarding law, and that's because the bar exam is coming up. So, I know, I just made that sound exciting. The bar exam is, a difficult task. It's, it's gonna cause stress and anxiety, but you guys can do it. So I'm here to help, get you guys through it. So a lot of the content I'm putting out right now has been requested by those of you taking the bar exam, and I am happy to give my insight and tips on what I did to successfully pass the bar exam. So it is regarding the MEE, which is the essay portion of the bar exam. So for those of you who are studying for this, you already know how difficult it is. There are 3 sections in the bar exam, and this section accounts for 30% of the bar exam. So yeah, so I have some tips of what I did to drastically improve my practice scores, ultimately leading to me passing the bar exam. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into those tips right now. So the first tip that I have regarding the MEE is write your answers clearly and write them the way the bar examiners want to read them. So for example, I can't exactly remember if I did Themis. I can't remember if they recommended like IRAC or, CREAC or whatever, different way it was to really just lay out your answers in a way that was neat and succinct. And so that way the bar examiners could really just go through it. But whatever method that is, make sure you remember to do that. Like, don't just throw the answer out there. Make sure it follows and it flows and it's neat. Another way to really just look at example answers, you can go to a lot of websites. Of course, Themis, Adaptabar, Barbary, Kaplan have sample answers for you, but you can also go look at some of the example answers from real students that the bar that NCBE actually posts. So if you go to their website, they actually have this available from like old exams. They have a few sample answers, and they may say like this person received a 6 or something like that. So that's also a good way to look to see how other law students wrote. I will, say again, like, don't just look at one, look through, because it's possible to get a 6 and, somebody write a really, really long essay, and then somebody write a shorter essay, but they were straight to the point and got exactly what the bar examiners wanted. So make sure you are following that format, make it neat, succinct, make it have a nice flow so they don't have to go around looking all over the place for your answer. They can just go through, check. I mean, you have to think it's not, they're going through probably a lot of, essays. They're probably trying to, get through a lot of students. So you want to make your answers clear. You want to say, this is the issue, this is the rule, this is my analysis, and this is my conclusion. Boom. And they should be like, okay, it's all there. They did it properly. Their analysis was good. They pointed out the proper rule, 6 or whatever, So make sure that you make that clear. Do not skip over that step. Okay, tip number 2. This is just huge for the MEE as well as the MBE, and it's going to help you with both. Again, the MEE just has 16 subjects instead of 8. So you just have more, law spread out through different subjects to know. But you have to learn the rules. You cannot get past this with both the MBE and MEE. You just have to learn the rules. You have to know the rule in order to correctly apply it and analyze the issue, so make sure you know the rule. You don't want to, have the wrong rule or not be able to state what the rule is. So make sure you know the rule. And I know for me, like, this tip also kind of goes in conjunction with this, because, like I said, it's about 16 subjects. It's, those big 8 subjects like con law, evidence, contracts, and then those smaller subjects like family law, corporations, secure transactions, wills, trusts, So it's so many subjects already, and that means so much law to learn. So what I did is, well, one, it's you only have 10 to 12 weeks to study. You're trying to get in as much material as possible. So what I did is I used things like, I think it's like lean sheets or JD Advising's sheets, or I can't remember, or Studicata, something that pretty much was a much shorter outline or a 1 or 2 page sheet that had a list of rules that are seen on the bar more often. Or, it shows, okay, this rule is spotted 25% of the time when they use a wills question. Or this, rule is only spotted like 2 or 3% of the time when there's a wills question. So that way, it kind of helps you like set your priorities. So if you can't get through it all, you really try to get those ones that have a higher chance of showing up. And then on top of that, it really just shortens everything. Again, like those books, using Themis, Kaplan, or Barbary, they can be really long and intimidating sometimes. So I would really advise you guys to, take advantage of those other, I know sometimes it does cost money, or, maybe somebody, I know again, like sometimes those cost money, but I will say like they were well worth it just to have a shorter breakdown. I mean, some of that stuff out there is free. Like I know Studicata, like they have videos on YouTube. I know JD Advising has some stuff available that's for free on their website as well as tips. So, try to use shorter outlines to really get to understand those rules. Again, because I said it's just so much material for the MEE. It's just impossible to learn every single detail. So try to get as much as you can by really taking advantage of those and those sheets that show you, okay, these elements or these rules pop up a lot when these subjects are, mentioned. So that means you need to know those rules. You need to know those rules. So that's just my recommendation. Again, know the rules, but then also try to use, those lean sheets or those shorter outlines that really point out what rules are and what issues and rules are quite commonly used in the essay portion when these subjects appear. Yeah. Okay, tip number 3, practice under time conditions. I know, you're already doing it for the MBE, you're probably doing it for the MPT. And with the MEE, you're going to be doing 6 essays on exam day, 30 minutes each. And, sometimes it can be really daunting, like practicing under time conditions over and over and over again. But I will say it does help. It gives you a realistic expectation of what exam day is going to be like, so it's okay, starting out or every once in a while to go over on a question. But you really want to try to test your skills and see what you can get done within that time frame. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to, have only taken one times essay and then come bar exam day, you spent, an hour or whatever doing these essays. And then on exam day, you're rushing or you're running out of time or you didn't have a chance to answer 2 essays or something. Like, again, you really want to be able to have appropriate time management skills when it comes to the bar exam. So practice under those time conditions as well. Like that really helps. And for me, like I'll be honest, I get super, super anxious. So it just kind of gave me ease. Like I really needed to do test day conditions to like give my mind like some ease and just say, okay, well, I've done this before. I didn't want to just go in there and have never put myself in that testing condition before. So it just kind of gives my mind ease. That might just be me, but I think it is important to test under time conditions for that reason as well. Okay, tip number 4. So I did this and I actually found it helped me out. I think somebody maybe recommended this to me, but as time got closer, so as the bar exam is approaching, you might have like 3 or 4 weeks left. And you're really trying to get in a lot of material, you're falling behind. One thing I did to make sure I exposed myself as much as possible with the essays is I wanted to make sure I got as many essays in as possible, as well as practicing on them. So I did a lot of practice ones, but when I started getting like running out of a little bit of time, I started skimming and outlining those essays. So I wouldn't just write a full 30-minute essay. I would do, okay, issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. The issue is this in one sentence. The rule briefly is this. Analysis, one sentence, and then, conclusion, something like this. Like, I would literally do like one sentence essentially, just to make sure I spotted things correctly and I was on the right track. I say one sentence. It's probably like one sentence or 1 or 2 sentences, just to, even if I didn't write it down, just to know, okay, I'm on the right track. And then I would go over the answers. And I will say, like, I can't remember how many Themis had, but I did a lot of essays. I probably did somewhere between like 80 to like 120. I really don't remember, but probably, like, let's say I did 100. Out of that 100, I probably skimmed or outlined about maybe like 30 or 40 of those compared to that 60. And I will say, like, I have talked to people who've passed and who've done well, and they were like, Brooke, you overdid it or whatever. But this was just for me. This is what I did. I will say that I scored, about 30 points beyond what I needed. So, in my state requires a 270. So this is just what I did. Again, I'm very anxious and I wanted to make sure I passed. So, you probably don't have to do that many, but that's just what I did. I really wanted to expose myself to as much material as possible. So take that as you may, with a grain of salt. You may not have to do that many. Again, I think it just depends on you. Like, tailor your studying to you. Like I said, for me, very anxious. I needed to build some confidence, so that's just, how it was for me. I know a lot of people say, once they get the rules down, they don't feel the need to like go through all this essays. So really just figure out what works best for you. So that is my recommendation. If you're running out of time, you want to get in, and you want to get in as much exposure to the different essays and those subjects, try to like just outline them versus like actually doing the full essay and kind of like skimming through and then seeing how the answer is correctly. Okay, tip number 5. Just like I said in number 4, you're trying to expose yourself to as much material as possible. You're doing that in the MBE. You're doing that when you're learning all this material. You're trying to expose yourself. So tip number 5 is practice, practice, practice. That is that repetition. That is that exposure that you need. So come test day, your mind can remember what has been soaking in it over the past 10 to 12 weeks. So practice as much as possible. Find a routine that works best for you and stick to it. Practice, practice, practice. Tip number 6. One thing that I also did, which disclaimer, do not rely on this by any means. I just think that this is a good resource to use. I remember looking at JD Advising stuff quite a bit. And JD Advising does do like recommendations, if you will, but it's pretty much what subjects they believe will appear on the essay. So this is just their educated guess on what subjects they believe will appear on the UBE essay portion of the bar. Sometimes I believe they've spoken about it, and they'll say, sometimes they might get 4 out of 6 of those right, or whatever the case may be, but they just do it based on trends. They don't consult anybody or anything like that. They just kind of do it based on the trends on past bar exams. So I think it is cool. It's great to look at. They do like a breakdown of, okay, they're guessing based on trends that might be on criminal law, and they might also guess it might be an essay topic on search and seizure or something. I don't know. So, really, I think, take that with a grain of salt. I think it's a great resource to use, but do not rely on it. And I know they probably put a big disclaimer out there saying, do not rely on these findings. They're just things that we do, just for our research, to help you guys and to maybe just give you guys some ease or something. But again, do not rely on that. It just is something that, maybe the odds will be in your favor and maybe they won't. So that was something, that, you can always look at as well. And in addition to that, I think JD Advising just has some great tips as well when it comes to studying for the bar exam and passing. So yeah. Okay, and tip number 7, it all comes down to being confident in the work you put in. So like I said, you guys, your building confidence is, between you. It, it has nothing to do with what I'm telling you or what your peers are doing. It depends on the work that you do. Like I said, like I did a lot of essays, practice questions, different study techniques. And a lot of people that I know are like, okay, I only did like 25 essays, or I only did one NPT and I passed fine. And that works, but they built that confidence in them that they needed. Like for me, I didn't have the confidence having done 25 essays, so I wanted to do more. I think it just really just depends. So I say all that to say, like when it comes to the bar exam, and again, the MEE, since that's what we're talking about, do what works for you. If you feel like you need more practice, do more practice. Even if it goes beyond your study plan, like do that. Or if you feel like, it's too much material and you feel confident in this area and you want to work more on the MBE, then do that. You really just have to be in tune with yourself, be confident that you are leading yourself on the right track, and be confident come test day that you put in the work. So yeah. Okay, you guys, so that's pretty much it. So those are the tips that I had. So how I really drastically improved my score. Again, studying for the MEE is a difficult task. The bar exam is difficult, but the MEE is difficult as well. You just got to keep practicing. You got to look at, your assigned reviewer, the person who's reviewing your essays, and see what feedback they've given you and really try to improve on that. So again, it's constant repetition. You've got to learn the rules. You've got to know how to format it. And you just really want it to be succinct in a way that bar examiners will determine, okay, I can go through this quickly. I see everything that, we need to check off, and we can give them a high score and move on. So again, also, I know I mentioned like a 6. You do not need a 6 to pass. Okay? We are just trying to pass. We are not trying to get the highest score in the world. I mean, if that's your goal, that's okay too. But we just need to pass. So you guys, you've got this. If you put in the work, trust me, you got it. If you have any more questions, please shoot me a message. I'm happy to help. I am on Instagram at _brookefay. And as always, my lovelies, good luck, good luck, good luck. If you have any more questions, any more content you want to see in the bar exam, just let me know. And